Okay, hey guys, this is Radian, and I'm gonna do Citadel of Flames Path 1 today, and just explain kind of how to do it. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes with a normal group. The elitist groups can do it a little bit quicker. As for what build to use, the elitist groups will take 4 Berserker Warriors and a Berserker Mesmer, and they'll ask you to ping your gear and stuff like that. And okay, here I would take the Omberry bar for magic, fine, and the more gold. And then you take this potion, plus 10% damage versus Flame Legion. And then you take 10% less damage. Yeah, we want to do path 1. We're going to select the top one. I don't know why someone selected the second one. I hope everyone in our group's here for path 1. This is just a random pickup group I'm in. But yeah, as I said, the ideal build for this would be on whichever profession you're using. You want a Berserker setup. Now I actually don't have Berserker, I have Invaders because I'm using my world versus world setup. But if I wanted to do a ton of runs, I would probably get some Berserker gear on my characters. But you can see our group's not an elitist group, we take everybody, okay? So that's what I would start off with. Don't try to join an elitist group that's asking people to ping gear. Just say looking for group path 1 on gw2lfg.com, and any group will take any profession. So yeah, Necromancer, I'm using my Necromancer with my world versus world gear. I just didn't find it worth it for me to change and buy another Berserker gear, because the amount of times that I'm going to do Citadel of Flames isn't really enough for me to want to have to pay the amount of money to buy Berserker armor. So basically, at the start, we're just going to stick with the group. Nothing too much here. And I like to do this, I like to do the dailies on all my characters. My Warrior and my Guardian are actually a lot better equipped, more favorable for this dungeon than my Necromancer build, but I'm just doing the daily on all my level 80s to get my 60 char carvings on each of them. So that's why I'm using Necromancer, even though it's definitely not the most ideal build. Okay, so here's kind of the first boss we're going to fight. The Slave Driver. He's pretty easy. I can't remember ever having a group that died to him. I mean, it's pretty common for one person to down, but I've never had a group wipe against him. He's pretty easy to beat, even with a bad group. Nothing to it for this guy. But yeah, so pretty much most of this dungeon, a lot of this dungeon is just sticking with your group. Not much more to it. There are going to be, there are going to be a few instances where there's actually something potentially tough you have to do, which I'll kind of point out. I guess we're actually going to approach one soon. I'm going to try to revive this guy. Yeah. Oops. Let's get him up. Okay. Okay, so our group right now, you can see we're having a lot more trouble than what an average pickup group has. I don't know anything about any of these players. This is just a random pickup group that I found on the internet. So I know nothing about how good these people are. You can already tell we've got a Ranger. I think Ranger is maybe the most underpowered class in the game. We've got Elementalist, Guardian, Warrior, nothing wrong with those three professions. But I mean, if a Ranger is a good player, then you can still be good. So here we're going to go this way. We're just going to run past all the combat. When you're doing this dungeon, you want to do it as quick as possible. We're doing speed running, multiple runs, so you want your group to always be ready and alert and just going through as fast as possible. You can already kind of see our group's not doing that. If you look how far behind they are, I don't even know why they're that far behind. But so yeah, you saw the path I took. You just run past enemies there. You can ignore Roshan, whoever that is. And this part, oh my goodness. I would say 85% of your groups are going to be better than my group. Okay, so here we're just going to kill the Flame Acolytes. There's going to be 3 waves. Here's the flame acolytes. They just spawned in. They have the red cross swords above their head. And there's going to be 3 waves. Just kill each of them. And then after you kill them, we're going to run away. So this one's still alive, and that one's alive too. Need to kill him. That one. Okay, so that's the last one. Now we're going to run this way. Some people will take their own way. We're going to run this way. I always run this way to get out of combat. And so basically we're just trying to break aggro. Whoops, got in the fire. Okay, get on this rock. We're just trying to break aggro from these enemies because like I said, there's 3 waves. You only have to kill the acolytes. So right now we're going to be waiting for them to respawn. I don't know exactly. Maybe it's about 30 seconds for them to respawn. The time you run here and then the time it takes to run back, that's already like 15 or 20, so you don't really have to wait very long. And you can see the red cross swords are back up, so we're going to kill these flame acolytes. This is our second wave now. And if you down here, you're probably not going to get picked back up. It's really hard to get a revive because just look at all the enemies here. I mean, there's a ton of enemies. They'll kill you pretty quick, and you have to watch out for snares, immobilize, knockback stuff right here because it's easy to die. And I'm pretty surprised our group, nobody died, given kind of how bad of a start we had. But usually people don't down here. I mean, if you down here, you probably stood still for too long, or maybe you just didn't head back in time. Wow, someone's about to down now. Let's watch this person's health, see if we need to revive. Yeah. I don't really have well of blood, but not really. Okay, we're gonna wait for him to regenerate. Usually we just go ahead and go, but we're gonna wait for him to regenerate, and somebody else actually went and killed the flame acolytes. Looks like, yeah, because you can see the waypoint already popped up. And I'm gonna grab our chest, and this is probably the trickiest part, I guess. Okay, this part we're about to do right here is the reason why the groups, elitist groups at least, always ask for a mesmer. You don't need a mesmer to beat this, but if you have a mesmer to portal people through, you don't even have to do the puzzle. We'll see if I can get across. I usually get across, I would say 2 out of every 3 times, but I don't usually have to even do this because usually we'll have a mesmer. But it's just a random pickup group. Like I said, a mesmer is not required. And we'll see if I can do this. Gonna pick up our flame. Each person needs to pick up a flame. We're gonna run across. No, I'm not gonna get it. And you need 3 people to get across and drop it on the other side. So I didn't make it there. I mean, the thing that makes it tricky is they don't all go at the same speed, and the spawn is not always the same. So you can't just... Oh, there I go, I'm dead again. You can't just say, okay, after the left one goes 2 rotations, after the first one takes 2 full rotations, I'll go, and that'll work every time, because it's not always going to be the same spawn. And there's not really much. I mean, I just pick up one and go. I don't really wait and see what the best possible... Yeah. Okay, so that's like 3 consecutive deaths. Usually I'll make it by then. I've just barely died on the last one. This is a lot of more trouble than it should be. Here we go. Wait for it. Okay, I made it. There we go. So we had 3 people. Okay, this part. Now, this part, you want the person with the most damage to go to the gate controller over there. That is not me. I'm a necromancer. Okay, actually we need to wait. I shouldn't be getting ahead. You need your full group here first. It helps. You don't want to rush in and then let enemies hit you. You want your full group here. You want the person with the most damage. That's going to be our warrior. He should be going. And someone went. I think it was the warrior. I hope it was the warrior. Because they have to kill the gate controller. And you can't do condition damage to the gate. Okay, so here, the 4 people that did not go for the gate each need to get inside one of these things. These rings. They don't pop. The ring doesn't spit out the fire until you get in it. So this is where you need all 5 people. If you don't have all 5 people, then the gate controller, the warrior or the person who goes after the gate controller can't take down the gate controller unless all 4 people are standing in the rings here. And see the gate controller's health at the top right? We're going to stay in the ring until it goes down. You can see it just went down. And there's a glitch right here. Okay, now we're going to follow this way. But there's a glitch right here. If you weapon swap like right now, before the cutscene, and then you skip the cutscene, and then your weapon swap finishes recharging, you're not going to be able to weapon swap again. It's a weird glitch. Anyways, we're going to get our chest, make our way this way, and usually we like to go all the way this way to de-aggro. This guy, the silver guy, you usually don't kill him. I've never had a group that killed him. You want to de-aggro him. And I've never had a group that didn't de-aggro him. This could be our first group. Like I said, we're having a... I don't know, the group's having a ton of trouble. But for this boss, he has crystals that spawn. You can see the purple thing, searing crystals, and they regenerate his health. So I mean, I guess the intended purpose was you're supposed to kill the crystals to slow down his health regeneration. So some people hit the crystals while some people hit him. The reality is, sorry, this boss is so easy. You don't need to kill the crystals. Just attack him until he dies. There's nothing really tricky to it. Now if you get downed, sometimes people will down. I would say usually there's one or two downs. If you do get downed, you can rally off these crystals right here. They don't have much health. Just use skill 1 or whatever skills depending on your profession to rally yourself from the crystals. So you also don't have to revive people if they go down, because they should just be rallying off the crystals. Now, like I said, if it's just a pug, you don't necessarily know that they're good. So if you see them start to use skill 4 when they're downed, then you can just assume they're not trying to rally, and you might as well go help pick them back up. But like I said, there's nothing really to this boss. I can only remember maybe once or twice where I had a group and we didn't beat this boss. He's pretty easy. Now sometimes what happens is people will want to level up their lower level characters, so like when this boss gets to 10% health, which he's not quite at yet, they'll switch to their different character, their lower level character who's not 80, and then they'll just pick up the final reward on that character. It gives like 3/4 of a level to that character, so it's super fast leveling up, especially given that you can do this dungeon in 10 to 15 minutes. So that's really quick for leveling up your alts, and that's exactly what I'm doing with my Mesmer and my Thief right now. Like I said, well, I didn't say, but I mean there's diminishing returns in this game, so you can't just keep doing that. But the diminishing return is 30 minutes, yeah, but the daily doesn't affect diminishing returns, so that really speeds it up, given that you can just alternate characters and do the dailies and do ones without the daily, and then you're not going to get diminishing returns until later. And grab the chest. There's our reward, and there it is. It's about 1 gold per run, I would say, when you get the daily. And I'm going to tell my group I can keep going. A lot of groups, sometimes if you don't specify that you're trying to farm, they might all just leave after 1 run. Most groups will just keep going, and they'll do multiple runs, and they'll be switching characters to get the daily on each character. Might as well do multiple runs. Okay, it looks like our group's disbanding. Thanks for group. So I'll leave this now. But usually they'll do multiple runs. It's rare that they'll just all say I have to go, like what we just saw, but we saw a lot of uncommon things in that group which you probably won't be seeing. You'll have better groups 85% of the time. So now what I'll do, after I spawn into Fireheart Rise, I'll go ahead and go to the Lion's Arc Trader, and I'll show you where you spend the char carvings and how you get the most money from spending them. If you already kind of know how that works, no real reason to watch it. That's pretty much it for the video, other than that, if you already know how to spend all the stuff. Okay, just waiting for it to load up. And pretty much right here is where all the traders are for each of the dungeons. This trader, he sells both armor and weapons. He sells rares and exotics, and I know it's night gear. Yeah, knight's gear. There's the berserker gear, the most damage gear, which is actually the gear that is preferred for this dungeon. And This is a really long load time. I have a really bad internet. Okay. So, we're going to go to the trader here. He's the char guy right here. And you can see, you can't see anything now. Okay, here we go. He sells armor and weapons. Pretty much depending on the armor piece, depends on how much it costs. The chest and leggings are more expensive than the gloves and the boots and just stuff like that. There's the elite, or excuse me, the exotic gear. And so if you want to get the maximum amount of money from spending your char carvings, and perhaps let's say you're not really interested in wearing any of this armor, or maybe you already have the armor you need, go to the rare armor, and any of the armor pieces that are 30 char carvings, you can just go ahead and take this, just buy a bunch of them, and after you buy them, actually let me see if I have a salvage kit. I don't think so. Basic? Okay, whatever. Wait a minute. Okay, anyway, you're just gonna buy a bunch of them, any of the 30 flame char carving rare pieces, and then take a master's salvage kit and just salvage them for ectoplasms, and you can sell them on the trading post for, I believe, 18 silver each. And that's pretty much it. That wraps it up for this video. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. It's a pretty easy dungeon. You don't need a great build. Any profession works. Any build works too. Just try to take a damage build. It's a pretty easy dungeon. If you do want to do this dungeon a ton, I would suggest Mesmer or Warrior, getting one of those to 80 with Exotic Berserker, because those elitist groups, they only take Berserker, Warriors, and then one Mesmer for the portal that one part. They'll ask you to ping your gear. They're really elitist. I personally don't like people that are elitist. I just play for fun. But yeah, if that's what you want to do, get a Warrior Mesmer. Other than that, at least for my sake, just anything will do, depending on how serious you are and how often you want to do this dungeon. So that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for watching.